Hey fellow Vault wearers, it's Angry Turtle, and in this video we'll be covering very important topic, the criticals after patch 35. There was a lot of changes that you should know about. Half of those changes was mentioned in the patch notes, other half was not, therefore they are either intentional but not mentioned or accidental. We will not know until next patch and maybe another changes, but for now, as you can probably already see, a lot of values for the critical damage was adjusted up, but in the same time, every bonus for those criticals supposedly changed to fully additive. The same mechanics as we have with other bonuses supposed to apply to the criticals at this moment, and we will be testing that. For the testing, let me show you very quickly. Those are the perk cards I have equipped at this moment. Those are the legendary perks. As you can notice, I unequip everything that gives me like a temporary or conditional bonuses. I don't want any changes during the testing, and I'm solo and I'm on the private server for the consistency as much as it is possible. Now about the weapons, we have 3 of those. We have quad explosive fixer, we have quad critical damage fixer, and we have blooded VATS hit chance less AP cost fixer. Blooded fixer is here for the reference, because if everything is working as it was stated, then blooded, one critical hit from the blooded weapon should be slightly more powerful than one critical hit with quad crit damage weapon. If it will be different, then something is off. If it will follow this rule, then we know it is exactly like in the patch notes. But there is more mechanics that was changed for the criticals that we need to talk about before we start testing exact damage. First, we apply to explosions, and I will be talking about it while showcasing it for you. My luck is very high, I will quickly show you, 35. Therefore, I should be able to charge critical in 2 shots. Now, that would be a normal scenario, and maybe we should start from that. Let's use the fixer with extra crit damage, and we'll go over it while shooting some super mutants. We'll be shooting in the torso. I charge critical, I shoot with crit. I have 2 shots, and crit is recharged as expected. Now everything changes when I take this quad explosive fixer. Explosions have been adjusted with the recent patch in 2 ways. Now if I do the critical, shoot again, it's recharged. I shoot, crit is empty, crit is full. What changed in here? Basically, every explosion caused by explosive bullet counts as additional hit for the purpose of charging your critical meter, which is huge buff for explosive weapons. They can charge fully without the need for critical savvy perk card, which is 3 points that you can save while using explosive weapons, or if your build is very low on luck, with critical savvy, you can go way lower with luck and still recharge for every other shot when using explosive weapon, which is huge. There is more into explosive weapons. There is good and bad side of the changes. Basically, critical applies to the explosive portion of the damage. It doesn't do much versus regular enemies, you will barely notice that, but there are more important consequences. If we'll be fighting bosses like Scorchbeast Queen or Mr. Earl, those bosses have 70% and 80% respectively of damage mitigation. This damage mitigation is fully bypassed by every critical hit, which means in case of bosses, those explosions, when you do a critical hit, will do way more damage than they used to. In the same time, the negative effect is explosions will do way more damage to you, way more self-damage than they used to when you use criticals. That's one of the reasons I do not recommend using for your commando Grenadier perk no matter what. I still recommend using it for builds that are aiming for hitting multiple enemies, but you will need to be way more careful. If you watch my testing livestream for Test Your Metal update, you were able to see that no matter my defense in power armor, if I use my 2-shot grenade launcher and I use it with a critical, I was dead in 1 shot. There's no defense that will help you. Then that's a downside. And you can see it here if I go to this super mutant and I will hold the crit bar and I will be shooting him. You can see that wasn't the best showcase, it was only 1 crit, but you were able to see that my health drop. When I will be shooting floor, it's dropping slowly and in very steady manner. If I'm shooting enemy in VATS with the criticals, there is like a jump wherever critical is happening when I'm taking more damage. It's not too bad with regular explosive weapons like this fixer, just because explosive portion of the damage is relatively small, but any weapon with significant portion of explosive damage, it's way more visible. Then that is the second change. Now let's go over the damage, and for this purpose, to make it slightly easier, we will equip Critical Savvy. We'll not be boosting critical damage yet, but in the moment we'll try it with better criticals and with some additional boost from food, as it was buffed as well. As you can see, Blight Soup is 100% crit damage, even though I'm solo, but I do have Herbivore Mutation. Herbivore Mutation doubles this boost. Normally it would be 50%. Then I can easily boost my criticals by 200%. We'll see how much it will do. Let's start from the quad explosive the fixer and we go up. We'll see how much damage we'll be doing from 1 shot, and now we'll be going for the head on those enemies, and we want to do the critical on the super mutant and observe the health. 1 shot under T, almost between N and T, looking at the health bar and the name of the super mutant champion. Then it's under the T. Now let's go for the next weapon with extra crit damage. There's extra 50% crit damage on it. Will it perform in any different way? Is it better? Is it worse? Let's see. Let's find the super mutant. Do the critical. Slightly more. It's under N. Slightly more damage. Now the reference weapon. We are expecting a little bit more damage from Blooded, but not much. Just a little bit. And yes, there is just a little bit. It seems so far that changes and information in the patch notes about all critical multipliers being additive is accurate. We'll confirm it now by equipping more crit damage, and we'll see if there will be like a significant difference to our damage overall. How good is it to actually boost your criticals at this point? That's 100%, and we are adding another 100%, that's 200%, and we are repeating the test, starting with explosive. Critical. Yes, that's a significant improvement. Under R from the super mutant. Under R. Okay, we don't want to get detected. I have really good stealth set, then I should be about fine as long... Yeah, too close. A little bit too close, we'll be back. Okay, we are back. Now we are using quad with extra crit damage the fixer. Can we expect a little bit more? Yes, we did a little bit more. It's under E. Slightly more damage still. Then more worth it than explosions, even though I am using Demolition Expert. It is equipped. Then it's slightly better, but this do not give us such a quick crit recharge as explosion will give us. I don't know if it's intentional, but it's a bonus. Now let's compare it to the Blooded. Will we get even a little bit more? We still should have slightly more damage with the Blooded. About 30% additive damage more than That's in practice, that's a little bit. We should be able to see a little bit more damage if everything is additive. Alright, there is a volunteer. There is tiny little bit more damage. Then yes, everything seems to be additive. Then those are the changes announced and unannounced for the crit damage. The hidden changes and visible changes in the patch notes, that is covered here as well. If you didn't read the patch notes, there was a change to another perk that is kind of related. It's sneak perk, not the crit perk, but I will mention it in here. Let me scroll. Where is my perk? There it is. Mr. Sandman was boosted to 100% sneak attack damage with silenced weapons at night, which in practice is about the same as it used to work if you put it in the right order, which was quite weird. Now it's fixed. It doesn't matter which order you put this perk card on, it always provides a proper damage boost. Then that's a good news. If you miss it, it was actually in the patch notes. Then those are the changes. Seems like boosting your crit damage is still worth it. Oh, and lastly, I almost forgot to tell you about the last change. Last change applies to a server lag. Before this patch, if server was laggy, you've been penalized on your criticals. Basically, wherever you started using criticals and there was a server lag, then you have been losing on some of the criticals. They have been dropped because of the server lag. Now it's opposite. If there is a server lag, you are getting a series of criticals like in a row, which boost value of all those crit damage multipliers and chance by a lot. You basically can have like 5, 6, 7 criticals in a row if server is laggy. That's the last change, but this is more like change into server handling the lag than actual change that's supposed to be here. In perfect scenario, like on the private server I am, it just every second shot critical and every second shot registers correctly, but that's on the private server where there is zero lag. In real life scenario, when you are on adventure, there will be a lag, but I'm happy that they changed it from penalizing players for the lag to benefiting players for the lag. I mean, that's from both bad choices. This one is a better one. And that being said, this is everything you need to know about crit changes in latest patch. If you have any questions, please go into the comment section. I will try to do my best to help you out. And that being said, thank you a lot for watching and see you all in the next one.